Technology taking over the world is a common plotline for the books and movies we grew up reading. At first, the thought seemed impossible, but as the years go by, it's getting closer and closer to our reality.
In the last year, ChatGPT has become a household name. Whether used for coming up with recipes or writing an essay, this application has risen to fame in a very short time. Between May of 2022 and May of 2023, the interest in AI rose by 50%. This sudden rise in AI has started to pose a threat for jobs in the future.
Those technologies exist and they're already very impressive, but they're not being used in a lot of places yet. Companies, like I said, are lagging behind in their utilization of these technologies. So I think you're going to start seeing it pop up more and more in places, kind of everyday places.
AI, typically associated with answering questions and prompts, has evolved and developed the ability to paint, write scripts, and even compose music. But how does a machine create art? And what does this mean for the artists? Starting off with models to differentiate computer and hand-drawn art, to platforms generating original work, AI has started to play a larger role in the arts. While it is a new technological advancement, it does have its controversies.
Just in art, what I say, it's a plagiarism machine. It's scraping thousands of millions of images that nobody has given it permission to scrape. And that is clearly unethical.
Many of these popular platforms for creating AI art implemented copyrighted work into their training systems. Between these three top used platforms, about 5.85 billion works are unethically used to train the data used in creating text-generated art. However, getting past the ethical concerns, AI art can also be used for good.
It can make up for a person's inability to draw and render convincingly. I can draw, but I'm not brilliant at light effects, and it's really good at lighting things. So, it's very helpful for visualization.
The future of AI art? We still don't know what the future holds, but we can expect it to keep evolving.
Today with AI, it kind of reminds me of that time in the industry where we're pretty early on in the hype cycle, and I don't think the full impact is really clear yet. And with AI, there seems to be breakthroughs every week, and the models are obviously, they're getting better.
When it comes to film, artificial intelligence has started to play a big role within the industry. The recently ended SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes discussed the possibility of AI writing scripts for movies and TV shows. In addition, AI has the potential to influence certain fields such as visual effects and animation.
For example, we have narrow AI in almost everything, in your phone, in your computer, everything that you've been using for the last 20, 30 years have been using these algorithms. It's really just now that we have something more visually tangible to look at, like DALL-E, Stable Diffusion, Midjourney. That's when people are sort of raising their eyebrows and seeing things happen a lot faster.
While this technology poses a threat if misused, AI can also help complete tedious tasks, giving artists more time to be creative.
So those tasks and all those narrow AIs are just going to continue to help us the way we already are using them. It's just going to become faster, and we can spend more time doing the art part of the whole thing.
Music plays a crucial part in many people's lives, but can also be threatened by AI. Between deepfake audios which copy artists' voices without their consent and generated lyrics, the music industry could be facing a lot of changes in the not-so-distant future.
My feeling is that we're constantly redefining what originality is, and we're also constantly redefining what art is, right? There's lots of... the idea of a producer, like a studio producer, is something that's only really existed for the last 100 years since we've had kind of recording technology. So now we understand that there are great music producers, right? That's something that we value, but it didn't exist before we had the tools to produce songs. And so I think that it will very much go in that direction.
With this quick rise in AI, little can be told about what the future holds. New discoveries and updates fill our news headlines at such a rapid pace that it is difficult to imagine what could happen in a couple months, let alone a couple years.
I don't think that these large language models like ChatGPT, even the people who are most concerned about them, they don't consider these to be the existential threat. They're worried about what comes in 40 or 50 years.
The AI we are familiar with now might become a new platform completely in a matter of time, and it is our responsibility to use it properly and not exploit the powers it has to offer us.
So I think that you'll start to see some movies and some games that are made without AI that will be very popular and very longed and very nostalgic by a certain part of society. And then I think that the mass market most of the entertainment in the next generation will likely be either augmented partially by AI or mostly by AI or completely by AI.
We must be prepared for the age of AI, not only in the arts, but everyday life, and what that future may entail.
To me, the most interesting question about it all is it's the point at which it becomes effectively a conscious entity. Because as soon as it becomes conscious with a purpose of its own, other than to keep subscribers, I think then it becomes a different kind of artist. If it suddenly develops a consciousness. And I couldn't tell you whether that will happen.